Okay. So can you tell me your name and what your business is, what you do for your customers?
My name is Marco Martinez. I own Logicc Protection Studio, and we offer customization, protection for all sorts of vehicles, ranging from daily drivers to higher end like exotic things like that. Like vinyl wraps, window tint, paint protection film, any custom stuff, caliper things like that. We can typically handle.
Oh, cool. Do you see people coming to you for wrap as an alternative to getting like a new paint job?
Absolutely, yeah. The biggest thing people come in is like, hey, I've had my car for 4 or 5 years. I'm kind of bored of it. I want to change it up, make it look a little different. Um, Overall, it's cheaper than buying a new car.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come in and they get a new wrap, it truly feels like a new car.
Different
car.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you have to do anything with the paint before you wrap it?
Not necessarily. As long as the body is pretty straight, no dents, stings, things like that, you do want to remove it so that all the panels can be fairly straight. But rust, dents, things like that, you want to make sure that it's
for scratches, you just kind of fill them in. So
yeah, scratches. I mean, even if it's like a light scratch, I mean the film will cover it. Okay. So it's rare when we will do like a polish. But again, the cleaner the surface, the better the bond of the film.
Okay, that makes sense. What's your most common request from customers?
As far as like services or vinyl or
services.
Services. Our biggest thing right now is like a new car protection, so like Kevlar, like paint protection film. And that's also come a long ways too now. So where vinyl is more for like cosmetic purposes and color change. Mm-hmm. The Kevlar or PPF, the paint protection film, is more for like protection against rock chip, damage, scratches. And now they're kind of turning into like they're coming out with like vinyl or like colors, so you can so you get best of both worlds. You get your protection against rock chips and scratches, and it's in a color form. Where right now, or where it used to just be like a clear or a satin film.
With the PPF, can you do just PPF and not vinyl? Just to cover the car?
No, so when we sell vinyl wraps, so we'll do the full front end like in a vinyl wrap, and then we suggest or we recommend doing the front end with clear raw also, because the vinyl isn't meant to withstand like the rock chips and things like that. Especially in Utah, our roads are crucial for that. So we recommend doing clear raw on the front impact areas.
So the vinyl and the PPF goes on top?
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if it's a gloss vinyl, I'll use our standard gloss PPF. If it's like a satin, we'll use our satin PPF on it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's see. Where do you see the most wear on the wraps? Like when they come in, is like the front, top?
Yeah, most front end impact areas, like I said, especially the rock chips, all the construction we always have going on. So like the front end, the bumpers, like hood, kind of get pretty beat up. Depending on the car, like the lower areas. If it's a wider vehicle, sometimes you could tend to kick up rocks on to yourself, from your wheels and tires. So lower side skirts, rocker panels, things like that, pretty good shoot up.
What about ones that are coming like the top? Has it been like weathered in the top, or the sides?
Yeah, so from the manufacturer, they come with a 3 to 5 year manufacturer warranty against like that weathering, things like that. So on my personal car, I had it for about 4 years, and it sat outside all day, every day, 24/7. So hood, roof, you do see them kind of get weathered after that, like 4 or 5 year mark.
What does it look like?
The color just kind of cracks. So it's a 2-layer system when it comes to like the vinyl. So it's like your glue and then like your color. Okay. So you'll see like the color kind of like start to separate. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of has like that cracking effect.
It'll still protect it. It just kind of looks a little off.
Yeah, and depending on how long it's on there, it'll still look kind of like discolor, faded, things like that. Doesn't look very good, honestly. So yeah, once you start getting like the 4 or 5 year mark, again, if it's a daily driver, sits outside, you want to start taking it off. Sometimes the glue, if it stays for too long, it can kind of be a pain to remove also.
Or it could be on too long, it would be an issue.
Correct, to remove, yeah. For example, on my car, I left it on like longer than I should have, mm-hmm. and we almost had to like sand off like the roof and the hood
because the glue is so attached.
Yeah, and it was kind of It was a pain to remove.
Oh, wow.
But again, if you can get it, 2-3 years in, we've had vinyl wraps come in like, hey, like I'm gonna sell it, I'm done with it, like, or I want to change the color, and we tear it off, and your factory paint is still intact. So yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts, or what are your first impressions after seeing Aptera as a vehicle?
It's cool. It's different. Being a three-wheel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, being a three-wheel, kind of like the motorcycle like vibe. Reminds me a whole lot of the Vanderhall style.
Yeah, that's
Vanderhall.
right here.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. And then obviously electric. Everybody's going electric now, so it's cool that they're incorporating like the whole like motorcycle style to like electric. So yeah,
cool. What are your thoughts about a vehicle basically skipping paint job and just doing wrap as an only option for color?
I think it's good. I mean, for people that like to do like a lot of car people that we deal with, they buy a car and they want to make it their own. So they'll buy a car that, hey, let's do a wrap or let's do a design, let's change the wheels, things like that. So if you can not pay for the paint, which you're gonna cover up or things like that, it might be a good alternative for people to kind of branch out and do their own thing. And a lot of cars, for example, Tesla only has 5 colors. So if you can do something wild and crazy and different than everybody else, I feel like it'll be something nice that people can kind of explore and do something unique.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every manufacturer has the same colors nowadays. Like they just kind of copy each other.
Same 5 or so
Yeah,
colors.
exactly.
Yeah. Since the composites are generally more stronger than steel, do you see small stresses being handled better versus a steel car versus like wraps if they had like small like impact damage?
Possibly. I mean, I'd be curious to see how it holds up because, for example, steel or aluminum, I mean, it kind of always has a little bit better, but even like on like front bumpers, which are like a plastic composite, they still do get pretty pitted. If you drive them for a while, we've had cars come in that are used, that have been driving for, and it's crazy because it doesn't take much. We've had cars come in with like 3,000 miles, and the plastic on the front end, especially like a Tesla super flat, it takes a lot of
absorbs a lot of,
and it does get kind of pitted and chipped, and the only fix is having to repaint it. So yeah, I'd be curious. Maybe if it's a little bit stronger material, maybe it can kind of hold up a little better. But again, that's where kind of the clear rock comes into play to avoid those kind of damage. Yeah.
Okay. They mentioned that Aptera has been testing with the 3M 280 wrap. Are you familiar with this wrap?
Yeah. So that's one that we use quite a bit in the shop.
Okay.
3M, 280, and then Avery Dennison obviously is one of our 2 top sellers when it comes to vinyl wraps. But yeah, it's a good film. Again, that same thing. They have the 3 to 5 year warranty on like the flat surfaces. So what's going to be your trunk, your roof, your hood, that's what you have in the 3 to 5 year. On the sides, obviously you don't see as much sun exposure, like the sun beating down on it straight on. So sometimes the sides tend to last a little longer, to be a little better.
Yeah, because the way the Aptera is, basically the whole top of the car is like either solar,
Gotcha.
The back possibly glass, but only the sides are really covered with wrap, so it would last a lot.
And especially too with Aptera, if it's I highly doubt it's going to be a daily driver or sit outside.
Well, part of it, the idea is to have it sit outside so it can charge.
Oh, the solar. Gotcha. Yeah. But where it's a side panel and the sun is not being directly on it, I mean, you may be able to get a little bit more life out of it.
Okay, because you think that would last like maybe 7-8 years?
Yeah, depending on same thing with
side.
proper care and maintenance. They do have like ceramic coatings, kind of like sprays to help maintain and hold longevity of the coating. So yeah, with the proper care and maintenance and good protection, I'm sure we can make it last quite a bit.
So would that be like a yearly thing you'd want to kind of keep up after each season?
Yeah, so with the coatings, I mean, depending on the company manufacturer you use, you can get up to like a year to 2 years on a coating. Again, a lot of manufacturers have like sprays, like health maintenance sprays to kind of keep like a UV protectant on the vinyl. Again, that kind of help prolong
the sun exposure, the UV. Okay. You said you worked with composite vehicles. What's different about them as far as putting on the wraps versus like a metal car?
I mean, the composite vehicles that we work with, obviously, like we mentioned before, the internals are, composite, but then on the exterior, they're always been painted, So for us, it doesn't really make a difference because you still have your base and your clear, so we treat it like any other car.
So the same process.
Same process, yeah.
Okay. Someone had a question for me to ask. Do you know of a product called 303?
Sounds familiar. Is there like a clean?
It's like to protect the wrap from UV damage.
I've heard of it just from being in the industry. I believe they have some like cleaning products and protection products. Not too familiar.
This is another option.
Yeah.
Have you had any good or bad stories about the quality and longevity, but like different wraps? Like if someone asked, like chrome wraps are harder to install or more expensive.
Yeah.
Like which ones do you like or which ones should you avoid?
Yeah. So again, 3M is a good one, or a big one that we use. Avery Dennison. There are newer films that are coming out too. One's Logicc. They're mainly only like gloss films, but it seems to be like a higher end, more premium film. A little bit more expensive, but they tend to be, so when it comes to like gloss films on like Avery or 3M, they seem to be a little bit grainy, more like textury. Obviously, it's, when you compare it to paint, paint you can sand it and get all the texture, where vinyl, it is what it is.
Right.
With the Logicc, they have a more flat, paint-like vinyl. So again, it is a more premium product. And when it comes to chrome wraps, they are apterasol. They're also more expensive just because of how they're made. Depending on the vehicle and the shape of the body panel, you can't really stretch a whole lot. You can start to distort like that chrome look to it. So if you stretch it too much, it'll start to kind of give you this like white opaque look because you're stretching.
You're stretching the color too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So there's a lot of materials out there. The biggest thing is always choosing something that's of high quality. There are materials that are cheaper, but again, they're not going to last as long. You can get a year, maybe 2 years out of it. The glue, sometimes they don't hold. They'll start getting like lifting, things like that. So the biggest thing is we try to tell people, and we have people come in like, hey, because different companies have different colors. There's a company that may have, a specific color somebody wants, and they'll say, hey, can I order this material and you install it? We tend to avoid that just because if it's going to be a lower quality film, we don't want to put our name behind it. Anything that we do, we kind of stand behind our work 100% with the products that we know are meant to hold up. Somebody comes in with material that we don't really trust. It's like, hey, like we won't install this because we don't know the longevity, or we know it's not going to last. In return, you're going to be unhappy with the product. So it's like, hey, like I recommend doing these. And again, it only comes down to when people want like a specific color. But most of the time they come in like, hey, I want this color. We can kind of convert them like, hey, like let's look at 3M and Avery, see if they have anything similar. To try to get them for a better quality film.
Are there some like wraps you just like totally staying away from?
Yeah, for the most part.
Like which ones?
There's a few. Like I know, like, and I won't say we completely stay away from, but again, we
don't trust
them. So there's God, I can't think of them right now. I know cheetah wrap tends to be like a little bit like lower end.
Okay.
But anything basically off like Amazon or eBay,
just stay away from
just kind of stay away. If it's not a reputable brand, like obviously people do their research. Anything that people come in, like even window tint, from like eBay, you get the blue effect, the red effect, like people come in, hey, I have my own blue window tint, like when you install it, it's like what, like we want to install stuff that we know is of quality, and we don't want to ruin our reputation either. Somebody, you go to a car show or a car meet or whatever, it's like, oh, who did your wrap? Oh, Logicc did it, and it's the film is looking kind of aged and dull, and the installs lifting and everything that reflects us, And our biggest thing is we want to put out quality work with quality products.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So. Yeah, so Avery Dennison, you know, and 3M are kind of the most popular. You know, they all have, you know, quite a few colors to choose from, depending on kind of what you're looking for. Every manufacturer is going to have slightly different variation of colors. So depending on the color you're looking for, you know, maybe 3M may not have it, but you know, some other manufacturer will. Again, sometimes it becomes overwhelming how many options we have. Um,
So these two are your kind of go-tos.
Yep. Yeah.
Avery and 3M.
Yeah, we have Tech Wrap. You know, we have Hexes. Again, they just carry different colors, designs. And then we have the Nosatech. Again, this is more of a higher end, more premium. They do kind of tend to go for more like factory OEM colors. They only offer it in gloss.
Okay.
But again, this will be your most paint-like, minimal texture vinyl wrap.
So this would be higher cost than like the 3M.
Correct, exactly, yep. And then we do have some Flexus Shield, which this is the paint protection film in different color options. So you get best of both worlds. So you have, you know, your protection against rock chips, scratches, things like that. But now it comes in different colors as well to give you, again, custom and protection.
That's cool.
Where all these other ones are more just for, you know, cosmetic color change wraps. We do recommend doing clear bra over the top to kind of help protect and preserve the vinyl. But yeah, more for, you know, cosmetic color change and making your car a little unique.
That's cool. Do you have an example of the clear bra, like how thick it is?
Yeah. Let's see. So this is a good example of a full satin vinyl wrap.
That's pretty.
There's your example of a printed wrap. Then over here you have an example of your clear bra. So the full front end up to the doors is all wrapped in clear bra.
Oh, yeah, I can't even tell.
Yeah, so everything gets fully wrapped by the edges. Mirrors get pulled off, panels get pulled off, to give you that seamless install.
Yeah, it's really clean. Good job.
Same thing with the Tesla. It's a factory gray. So obviously with all the doors closed, you don't see any gray, you don't see any manufactured color. So that's always the end goal.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we doing? They're actually going to do a clear bra install on this one. Again, mainly just for protection against rock chip and front end.
Okay.
This is almost like double the thickness as the vinyl.
So this is the clear bra?
Yeah, the clear bra. And again, like mentioned before, as far as like the kit styles, this is all a plotted kit. So we plug it into the computer, and it gives us the exact shape of the bumper to install. So you can see. So basically, we just weed this out, and it gives us the.
Oh, interesting.
So everything right here is just, you know, excess.
That's how thick it is.
Yep.
This is excess here, so I can touch it. Yeah, that's pretty heavy duty.
Big. Again, this is meant to withstand rock chips, scratches, things like that. Yeah, so when it comes to clear bra and the kits, it's definitely helpful. With vinyl, again, just like that, I think the printed, you notice how all the excess, we just kind of form it to kind of the shape of the vehicle. Especially with a vehicle this big, it comes in like 3 or 4 different panels. So the biggest thing is aligning and making sure everything kind of flows smoothly.
Yeah.
That would be nice if it was just one consistent piece, but obviously the printers and machines aren't that big. So it's like 4 different pieces. You just gotta make sure it all cups up nice.
And you said the width of these are how wide?
So as far as vinyl goes, they come in like a 60-inch.
60-inch.
Yeah,
Okay.
60 inches. Yeah, with clear bra, they come in different sizes, but with vinyl, yeah, just one 60-inch. I'm sure the manufacturers can cut them down, but it's just easier to have, you know, bigger and cut it down to what you need.
That makes sense. Are there any kind of conditions like for washing the car, like the car wash in general, okay, or you have to like kind of skip that?
So as far as maintenance goes, I mean, we recommend hand washing.
Okay.
Pressure washing is okay as long as you kind of stay away from like edges, things like that. Obviously, you know, automatic, automatic car washes you want to try to avoid, being that those have like a high pressure. Again, depending on the angle of the.
So you don't want to get pressure on the edges.
Correct, because it can potentially lift the edge. So
that makes sense.
And then again, hand washing. So I mean, when you're washing it with your soap, you can mid it down and kind of control the pressure, control where you go to a car wash and these things are smacking your car and causing scratches, swirls, and again potentially damage the film.
Okay.
So hand washing is kind of what we recommend on any vehicle. But again, there's some people that's like, hey, a car is a car. I'm gonna drive it. It's my daily, and I don't care. There's some of our clients that are sort of meticulous and it's like, hey, I only hand wash it. I spend 2-3 hours on the weekend washing it, and but then in the long run, the car looks better for longer.
So when you do a pressure washer, like you probably want to like spray like towards the edge.
Correct. Yeah. So even at a distance, like with these pressure washers, they have some high pressure.
They do. Yeah.
So even at a distance, I mean, the biggest thing is before you wash it, if it's really dirty, just getting all the debris and dust off of it before you go to mid. But yeah, the biggest thing is just watching how close you are with the pressure. Again, just avoid any lifting.
But it's a little risky.
Yeah,
for sure. Have you seen any wraps that can be applied over solar panels? Like the clear, maybe, but
possibly the clear. I'd be curious to see how it affects like the solar. Yeah.
Okay. But are there like really thin options, like for like kind of like the clear bra, but maybe a little thinner?
So as far as clear bra goes, they're all about like 8 to 10 mils thick. So even then, that's pretty thick.
That's probably effective. Right?
Yeah, I'd be concerned if it wouldn't really hold.
Right.
Charge up.
Like there's been, I put out a video about this a while ago. There was a friend that made like all these different kind of fan-made models of the Aptera, like for wraps. There's like these plain options. There's one like a shark or a whale.
Yeah.
You see people might be getting creative with that kind of shape.
So we have people come in and they want like designs like that, So like especially kind of like the military style, like designs like the bombers on the side. Like that. So people can get creative with custom designs. Obviously with vinyl wraps, it's like you can do like a generic one color change wrap, or you have the option to do a printed design wrap. So we currently don't have a printer in house, but we source it out.
Okay.
There's a van out here that you'll see. It's a more of a commercial van, but it's all printed, like company colors and designs. But yeah, we've had people come in and say, hey, I want design with patterns and things like that. Yeah, that's also doable.
The Aptera said like since the side of it's so thin, it's under 30 inches.
Okay.
How wide is the wrap rolls usually?
The rolls, they come in 60 inches.
60?
Yeah.
So they said they could provide cut patterns. How would that be helpful to you?
So cut patterns are pretty good. With vinyl, it tends to be tricky because it is all heat applied. And so when you apply heat and then you stretch it to kind of contour it to the film.
Okay.
Even in house, we just kind of we use kind of a bulking method is what it's called. We just basically cut it off the roll and just form it to the pattern. Form it to the body panel. When it comes to clear bra, so that doesn't stretch as easy as the vinyl. So we do use a cut software for that to cut it. But with vinyl, we find it easier just to kind of bulk it.
So you overcut it.
Yeah, overcut it just off the roll. Basically, say for example, our door is 24 by 30. And that's when we cut off the roll and we just kind of form it.
So you have extra.
Yeah, with like a cut file, like I'm sure it'll work, but usually that gives you the exact cut for your panel.
But doesn't account for stretching.
Exactly. So if we need to stretch it or things like that, that's why we kind of prefer like that bulking method.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe we thought about it. We had the idea of like, hey, why don't we just like plot the panels? But again, it's so much quicker just to cut it off, throw it on, and
probably less
stretch it.
stressful because you know how much material you have left.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it possibly could be a good thing.
Interesting. So that would be more useful for curveball, like you said.
Exactly, and we use that on a daily basis. Like when it comes to Criveelectric, we do cut patterns. It just helps with quicker install. Again, that gives us, we enter year, make, and model. It gives us the exact pattern. Again, what we do more tailored custom install. So we do extend all the edges to wrap for more of a seamless look, similar to the vinyl wraps. You know, when you have a gray vehicle and you want to wrap it orange. The goal is to wrap all the edges, so when everything is said and done and closed up, you don't want to see any of the gray. So again, we do extend and wrap all the edges.
Yeah, I think with the Aptera, with like all the wrapping on the side, it probably would be a lot of rock. Because the body's actually higher off the ground,
Gotcha.
like the belly, and it goes up, so I think there would be a lot of rock. I think the pure coat, or the pure brow would be
an ideal
underneath.
for that.
Would be really, actually, really helpful and like something you would never have in a normal car.
Yeah,
underside's just hidden.
Hidden plastics, visible. You know. But yeah, if it's of like a painted or a composite, like a plastic, definitely getting it protected with something would be helpful.
Yeah, because I think the wheel covers would be good to have.
Yeah.
That'll take a lot of impact on the road. The last question was, people have questions like, can you put like magnetic things under the wrap? Like, can you put like something magnetic on top of the wrap? It's kind of an odd question, but
I mean, not that I know of. So when it comes to, especially being a composite, I don't think anything's really gonna stick to it. So as far as like when we install, we use like magnets, like as a tool to kind of help hold the vinyl in place.
Okay.
But again, like we've had cars like that are, composite Teslas that we can't use the magnets because they're maybe not Teslas, but there's some cars that have came in with that are composite, and we can't use the magnets because they just obviously it's not gonna stick to it. But when you have like a full metal car, yeah, we can use the magnets. But yeah, it's just being a composite. I don't think anything's really gonna stick unless it's like a decal. Like if you're doing like a sticker, or decal package, things like that.
Do people put stickers on their wrapped cars sometimes, like on top?
Yeah, we do, especially when we do like a company car. So we'll wrap it in a different colors. So say we'll do red or black or whatever, and then we can do kind of stickers on the vinyl, and it sticks pretty well. So again, if you want to do your company logo or design, or like we mentioned before, instead of doing like a printed vinyl, if we can print a sticker or something that's like a single color, because we can do single color like decals.
Okay.
We can put it over the top.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's cool. I'm excited. to start seeing these. It's cool, the whole electric things. I mean, all the manufacturers are coming out. Like when you see electric cars, it looks different. It looks kind of futuristic. So
yeah,
when you came over with the idea and saw the renderings, like holy crap, that's cool. It's different. So
yeah, I'll definitely bring it by once I get mine.
Yeah. Is there a color option as far as vinyls yet, or?
Right now the launch edition will be kind of like they call it Luna, which is kind of like a gray.
Okay.
Like a silvery gray. And they have white and black.
And are these going to be wrapped at the facility, or do you think they have like an aftermarket, like similar to us, where it's going to come in and?
As far as I understand, that it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to come wrapped, or if they're going to. If you were to make it would be easier to wrap the vehicle before it's put together, or after?
It just
depends. You got access to it.
Yeah, it depends. So with our wraps, like disassembly is a big key. Again, just to kind of cover up as much of the factory color and edges, things like that. So we take off like door handles, mirrors, badges, trim moldings, things like that to kind of fully tuck underneath. Because at the end of the day, you want that paint like
very clean.
Yeah.
So if you were to say something to the manufacturing team as far as wrapping it, you'd want to do it before all the panels are put together.
So yeah, if they are doing it before they assemble everything, then it will give them a much cleaner install. And it all depends on their installers too, because we have so I know Rivian is teamed up with, there's a company called Expel.
Okay.
So they offer, it's another brand of like paint protection film, Kevlar. And from what I understand, so they have like an account with Expel in a way. So you can order your Rivian and get like a satin paint protection film, give you like a satin look. And you just go to an authorized Expel dealer and they'll give you like a wholesale pricing deal.
Okay.
So I'm curious. That's why I asked. I'm curious if they're just gonna either wrap them in factory or have people go to shops that are authorized to install on the vehicles.
Yeah, from what I understand that they would come wrapped.
Okay.
They're not. From what I understand, they're not going to have a paint protection film on it.
Gotcha.
That would be something I definitely want. And you said you could put that on top.
For sure.
Of the vinyl.
Yeah. I had a client too. He ordered a Defender 110, one of the newer Defenders, and he chose the option of a satin paint. And when it showed up, it was actually paint protection film.
Okay.
And so that either got done at the factory or the dealer, either sends it off to get done and then ships it to the client. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. Because the dealerships here in Utah and all over the country, they install Clearbra, they install aftermarket products like that. But again, it just comes down to an installer. With vinyl wraps, Clearbra, it truly depends. It truly depends on the installer and the quality of material. Obviously, an unexperienced installer is gonna have some issues installing the vinyl, and it seems like all the dealerships that do, like for example Clearbra, it tends to be lower quality film and the install isn't the greatest.
So they're trying to cut corners.
Exactly, and especially with dealerships, they want to make as much as they can and get the car out and
they don't care as much about the longevity of it.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is too, if they're using 2080 3M, then that's a good start. That means they've done the research, they know a good quality film. Now it's just going to come down is are their installers going to be properly trained and able to give a good quality install. Okay. And even then too, quality control. Because even brand new cars off the lot, we get here and there's dirt nibs in the paint, scratches, swirls. So as long as they uphold a good quality control, if they install a vinyl and they see some issues, hopefully they can be like, hey, like that's not up to our standard or quality, let's redo it. That's the biggest thing. Again, manufacturers, they want to get them out, make their money, and on to the next. It's more of an assembly line type style. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see how they come out, what their quality looks like, and see overall what it's all about.
Yep.
And yeah, it's the first time I've heard that they're coming from factory with a vinyl wrap.
The big part of the cost of a factory is the paint.
Yeah.
Factory.
Yeah, paint booths, paint, So, again, vinyl wraps, if they have multiple options, or even if they say, hey, you can get a vehicle and it's bare composite, then you decide, you bring it here, go to your preferred shop, and you can do any color you want.
Yeah.
That's also a good option too, so that way people can kind of make it their own in a sense.
Yeah, the body of the composite, this is actually really beautiful, and some people have actually commented, I just want it like that.
Yeah.
But the UV would be an issue with the carbon.
So you almost have to have something.
So yeah, that would a clear, like a paint protection film, protect the carbon enough?
Yeah.
So you still see it, but it's protected?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, so we have...
That'd be the really thick stuff, right?
Yeah. A lot of even carbon fiber materials that people buy, like most of carbon fiber is expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of the carbon fiber, I don't know how I don't necessarily think it's like an actual clear coat. I think it's more like a gel coat or something like that.
But it's thin.
But it's thin. It tends to fade out super fast. So people, when they buy like a brand new carbon fiber piece, cost you, for example, front lid on a Audi or what we've seen come through. Okay. You can spend upwards like $2,000 on a carbon fiber lid piece. Yeah. So, and if it's gonna fade in a couple of years, you're like, that's a big, that kind of sucks, So we do a lot of Clearbra, and that keeps it from fading. it adds an extra barrier in the UV protection. So yeah, if it's a like a gloss carbon, yeah, definitely getting the gloss protection film, or even if you wanted to, if it's a gloss and you wanted to say, hey, I want more of a custom, we can do the satin clear bra, and it'll give you the satin effect to it. Yeah,
so interesting.
It all comes down to personal preference. Some people hate the satin matte slip, but then some people just love the gloss. So it just comes down to personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is it hard to take off the paint protection film? Say if it was on just like a raw piece of carbon, like you sent the glue from the vinyl, kind of takes the paint off. It's on there like for way too long. Is the clear bra any different?
So on raw carbon, we never really installed like clear bra on it. It's always been, again, it has some type of clear coat on it, which again it grabs on pretty well. Same thing, the clear bra, depending on the quality of the material and how long it's been on there, once you go to remove it, it can leave some residue behind.
Same issue.
Yeah. For example, it's the clear bra that we carry, so it's S-Tech film. It comes with a 10-year manufacturer warranty against like yellowing, cracking, things like that. However, if you do leave it on for that long, like I'm sure there's going to be some kind of adhesive left behind when you go to take it off.
Right.
The other issue is when removing even a vinyl or a paint protection film, if the panel's been repainted at some point, or maybe even from manufacturer, if the paint wasn't or if the panel wasn't prepped right for paint, it can potentially pull paint. That's a big issue with Tesla. Tesla, the paint is not the greatest. We've never experienced it, but we see people on the forums when they go to remove the film, say, hey, it got pitted, chipped up, and then they go to remove the film, it's pulled paint. And it's just part of like a manufacturer. I mean, you look up online like Tesla paint, and it's all over. So it's so it's a common issue. More like higher end thing for higher end manufacturers, you don't really have an issue. But again, it can happen. Whenever we remove vinyl, clear bra, we have a waiver signing like, hey, if this and it could be like, hey, maybe you're the second, third owner, so somebody at some point repainted a panel that you may not even know. We take all precautions to remove it safely, but if it pulls paint, it's one of those things that we're out of control. Like we don't know the history of the car. You may not know the history of the car either. So we have a waiver saying like, hey, if paint damage pulls paint, like we're not liable because we don't know the full history of the vehicle. So
what would happen at that point if the paint's removed? Would you just have to?
You might the panel just have to be repainted.
Painted again.
Yeah.
Before it gets wrapped.
Before it gets rewrapped. Yeah. Okay. So, say if you pull paint on a bumper, I mean, most of the time you have to repaint the whole bumper.
It could just be like a primer, and it could be like a final color.
Yeah, if it's just going on like a vinyl, and we've done it before. Like we've had people come in with like a damaged, fender or whatever. You don't necessarily need to repaint it as long as it's fixed and primer, smooth it out. Then you can do your vinyl. Okay. Obviously, when it comes to the point where it's like, hey, I'm done with the wrap, I want to take it off, you're going to have that. So eventually you're going to have to repaint it. Or if you go to sell it, like, hey, the seller's going to remove the vinyl and you're going to have
a big surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, again, as long as everything's smoothed out, you can put the vinyl. Obviously, clear bra is to protect the factory color, so obviously you want to have it painted again.
Okay. So, that's really helpful. So basically, what's a point where on the vinyl wrap you need to take it off before it becomes a bigger issue, like the cracking? You said, is that like a
cracking
that needs to come off?
Yeah, or once you start noticing some kind of fading. Again, for 3M and Avery, 3 to 5 years is kind of like their warranty issue or their warranty period. Well, I would say once you start getting about the 4. Again, if it's a car that stays outside quite a bit, then I would say around the 4-year mark, you want to, if it's a car that stays, in the garage, you go to work and you're in a covered parking, it only sees actual UV a couple hours a day. I mean, again, you can keep it on for a little longer. But I would say about the 4-year mark is a good safe point to say, hey, let's think about getting it removed before it becomes a huge issue. Because I mentioned on mine, I had to literally sand it down. And then I had to re-primer my roof. and then wrap it again. And so it became kind of a pain. And the biggest thing too is I didn't know the history of the car, and I found out when I was removing the vinyl, even on the sides, like some paint was coming off because the paint wasn't prepped properly. So I figured out, okay, well this panel was clearly being repainted because I pulled paint. So I had to smoothen it all out, and then at that point it's either get a full respray of the whole car, like paint, or wrap it again. So I was like, well, obviously the vinyl wrap is alternative and a lot cheaper, especially when we can do it ourselves. We just buy the roll and just re-wrap it again. So
I guess the last question: what's the average cost for like a kind of comparing it to like the Aptera? What would be like a small?
So a small car, like small sedan, depending on the factory color. Again, it all depends on how much assembly we have to do. Like that door handles, mirrors, door trims, things like that. And then the color that you want to do. You know, depending on the color, like if it has like a gloss usually, again, Logicc is a more premium brand, so that tends to be a little more expensive. The chromes tend to be in the higher end of the price. But starting out for like a basic color, like a satin or a basic gloss, you'd be around $400 to $4,500.
Okay.
For a full color change wrap. Again, that's fully disassembled. Again, there's people in town that can do it for like $2,000. But then again, it reflects the quality, it reflects the, they don't do any disassembly. They'll just cut around your door handles, cut around, your door trim. They won't remove anything. They just literally slap it on, trim around it, and some people are okay with that, and some people don't really. They want that full custom look for it, So, in this industry, it's one of those things where you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
If something sounds too good to be true, it's, I can get a full wrap for $1,500 or $2,000. Figure out what their install is going to be, and type of material they're using. Because, for example, a 3M roll, just the roll itself, you're looking, again, depending on color, around $600-$700 just for the roll. So if they're charging you $1,500, $2,000, that's not a lot of wiggle room as far as like profits, especially if they're shop based and overhead employee, things like that. There's even spots that or places that people are doing in their garage, just kind of a side work, and they can potentially do a good job, But doing the research is definitely the biggest thing. Figuring out materials and the install quality at the end of the day.
Yeah, if you're gonna keep that car, it's worth investing in it. That's basically.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna keep your car for a long time, then definitely you want a quality job. If it's something that's like, hey, in a year I'm just gonna sell it or turn it in, okay, cool. As long as my film lasts for a year, that's fine, But no, for sure, doing research on quality and install is the biggest thing. Because we get people coming in and, so and so down the street can do it for cheaper. Like, okay, well, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like, I guarantee the install it's not gonna last, or it's not gonna be as good. And we do a lot of redos too. We have people come in and say, hey, so and so shop, wrap my car, but I'm not happy with the install. Can you guys, redo some panels? And we'll redo it, but at the end of the day, it's costing them more because to save $1, they went down the street and now they either potentially got to redo it or paying us to remove it and redo it again. So it's a competitive market. There's a lot of people that people think that I can wrap my own stuff or start my own little side gig, but this industry it's becoming
I think it's gotten really popular in the past 10 years.
Because customization of the vehicle, that's the biggest thing. People want to, like, especially with the car scene in Utah, like, growing, and there's a lot of, like, car shows, car meets, and a lot of car enthusiasts, so they want to, kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
But it's becoming really competitive, and it's becoming hard for, like, a higher end shop that we're kind of striving for to kind of compete with the lower prices. But at the end of the day, like, we're still staying busy. We still, we have our kind of clientele that still wants a quality job. But we just kind of stick to what we do, and we still stay busy. So
I remember that. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you for stopping by, and I'm excited to see what what these new cars look like.
Yeah, I'll bring it in.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah.